I've cut this tailpipe off the old exhaust, and what I'm doing is looking at how to fix that on there. But what I've noticed is this piece here is not really needed, because well, that's welded on there just to give that a bit of a tailpipe. But there's a piece of the original exhaust construction that comes up to about this level. So I'm going to take, what I'm doing is I'm taking all this off so I can weld that tailpipe just on the original piece, because this is just superfluous and extra weight. Not a lot of weight, but I think I'm just going to cut it all off and get it back onto the original piece of the pipe. So we've just ringed that round. That bit can come off. I'll clean this big piece up round here. As you can see, that's the original place where it went on. So I'll clean this up just to give me enough of a shoulder to slip my other piece on. Just like that. And then this bit that we didn't need, we can go in the bin. Made myself a little tool today just to help me get these springs on and off. So just knock that up. Allows me to clip the spring on the one side of the exhaust, and then easily pull it and stretch it over onto the next clip. So there's been a lot of trial and error in putting things on and off constantly with all this, so that should make the life a little bit easier. So there's the tailpipe in place. I've put it on this bit of an angle because I didn't want it sort of blowing fumes, two-stroke oil and stuff into my rad. I can't see it makes any difference that it comes out on a bit of an angle. And then that sort of gives me that clearance there on the radiator anyway. So it'll come out. It's not really going to sort of blast anybody to the side. Not that people should be very close when the prop is running. So I think the next step is take it all off and give it a lick of heatproof paint. What I'd like to do is drill these so I can lock wire them. So I'm going to have a go at drilling one and see how I get on. Practicing a new skill, sharpening drill bits. This one was snapped, but it's the right size, so I just touched it up on the grinder. And I managed to drill a few of these manifold bolts for lock wiring. Let's have another go. So that's the manifold on. I put some lock wire on there just to keep the bolts in, 22 Newton meters torqued up to. Next I'm going to have a look at the exhaust gas temperature senders. So I bought these 8mm by 1, they're the fine thread bolts, drilled them out so that I could fit the temperature senders straight into the manifold that way using the old clips. So they should just slot in like that now. And I can do them up like they were on the previous engine. Okay, nothing straightforward. I've just noticed that my Jubilee clip is torn. A couple of new items I picked up on the way home. Some copper slip in a can, so I'm interested to see how that works because I've never had it in a can before. And a big mag, or a bag of big Jubilee clips. So I'm going to replace both of them, and they're stainless steel ones as well. Okay, tools for the job for this evening's work. Hopefully I can get this chapter finished. It's not this, I bought that because it was easily accessible from my local shop, and it isn't what I need, so don't buy any of that. Found this in Whole Foods. They had little tubes, but there was a lifetime supply there for £7. So I've got myself some copper grease, a special tool for putting the springs on. I've got some lock wire and my lock wire tool, and I bought some of this Permatex high temperature gasket maker to put along to put a bead along the springs to stop that vibration, which people seem to believe can cause the springs to snap prematurely. So this is all I need to get this exhaust finished off tonight. Because I didn't have any copper grease last night, I finished off my installation of my exhaust gas temperature senders. So I bought myself some bigger tubular clips, and this is how I fitted them on. So there's my two sensor senders that go into the bottom of the exhaust manifold. They run down here. I've just captured them with a bit of heat shrink, and I got this cable wrap for free from the company who supplied the silicone hoses. Again, it's sort of sticking with the blue theme, and it was on the side there staring at me, so I've decided to use it, and I've used that to just channel that across underneath here. I don't know if you can see that, and it's just sort of looped around there until I get the wiring sorted. But that seems to have made a tidy job of those, and yeah, allowed that to get finished off. So copper grease, a little bit round where the exhaust goes together. Let's just put a bit of a smear around here, and then we can start putting the springs on. Right, so there's my first lock wired spring. As you can see, what it does is it wraps around there and pinches this piece of the spring on the on that mounting lug. It goes through lock wired, but what you do is you don't pull it tight. You should leave a couple of loops or twists in there so that things have got it's got room to move and flex without stressing too much. And then what you do is you bring it back over and you trap it here, and then what I've done is just doubled that over because it doesn't seem right to have sharp edges left over. That's two of them lock wired, as you can see. If this needs to articulate, it can without breaking the lock wire. One more to do, and then we can mount the exhaust. So the exhaust just dropped into place, top fixing put on, just these bottom springs to do now, and that bottom bolt to tighten up. Time to crack out my new handy little tool. All three mounted. So time to have a bit of a crack with this. The idea being, you put a bead along the spring, it stops the spring vibrating at a certain rate, which is apparently meant to snap these springs off. So the idea being is it dulls the vibrations down a bit. So let's see how tidy or not I can make this job. There we have it, another little job finished. Let me know if you think I've been a little bit tight with my silicone application. It's on there, but there's not lashings of it. I've tried to tuck some of these out of the way a little bit more so they're a little less conspicuous. But it's all on there. So pleased with that. On to the next phase.